Welcome to the Do Zone, where entrepreneurs go to get things done. I'm your host, Josh Thomas. You can find me on all social media at JT Literally. Each week, I bring on experts from a variety of backgrounds to share their secrets on how to optimize performance so you can take massive action and crush your goals. The Do Zone is sponsored by Conversational Funnels, the new way to automate lead generation, qualification, and appointment bookings for service-based businesses. If you want more sales calls on your calendar without having to pay some expensive marketing agency or hire appointment setters, conversational funnels are the best bang for your buck in 2024. Download the blueprint for free by going to conversationalfunnels.com. Today's guest is Kelly Resendez. In addition to being a mom, executive at GoodLeap, a multi-billion-dollar company, best-selling author, and influencer, Kelly Resendez is a true leader in empowering women to live a life of abundance. As a co-owner of GoBundance Women, a membership organization for women dedicated to achieving greatness and abundance, Kelly is passionate about helping others adopt an abundance mindset and overcome self-sabotage to achieve their goals. Kelly, welcome to the Do Zone. Tell us something you believe is the key to getting stuff done that most people wouldn't think of.
Hi, Josh. I'm excited to be here. I would tell you the key is really loaded with self-awareness. I think when you really have self-awareness and you know what your preferred methods of self-sabotage are, that you're able to put a little bit of work and put more intentionality around those so that when the voices of inaction kind of come up, and most of us have them, like we give ourselves, an excuse making voice, or we wait for things to be perfect, or whatever it might be, your own unique way of self-sabotaging. Once you have that awareness, then you're able to definitely overcome those and get a lot more done.
It's surprising how many of us have absolutely no idea how we are wired to behave and perform. We have no clue.
Yeah, nobody ever told us that we needed to. I think most of us just have accepted this is who I am. And honestly, the greatest gift that I ever had 20 years ago was waking up to the idea that I was not my thoughts. And when I figured that out, and it allowed me to go deeper into neuroscience and really understand, like, nobody wakes up, Josh, and says, I'm going to have a completely mediocre day today. Like, I am going to have lack of focus. I am going to buy a pair of shoes on accident when I go to Facebook. I'm going to eat unhealthy. Like, nobody wakes up that way. And yet that's how most people live. And it's because most of us are dominated by our brain. And what we need to do is we need to start training our brain like the puppy it is and start giving it better instructions and tools in order to be able to support our bigger vision in our life.
It's interesting that you talk about awareness, specifically awareness about self-sabotage. Just like you
Mm.
said, we're not trying to self-sabotage. To a certain extent, we are wired for protection and survival.
Yeah.
And self-sabotage then, at its core, at least according to our brain, is a form of protection and survival.
Well, it is. You live
Misguided,
this long.
perhaps,
Yeah, you live this long being a master procrastinator, right? And so it's
why
like, wow,
change? There's a
like,
big
why am I going to
risk.
change? There, Josh is alive. I'm not going to get him to move forward and do these things. And, I know nothing about self-sabotage myself personally, but I help a lot of other people. Um,
Yeah,
we all have something different, and most of us keep it hidden. And that's the part that, I really
another
encourage
protection mechanism.
people. Yeah, it's another protection. Like, I need to look perfect. Like, I'm a leader. I need nobody. I can't show people my weaknesses. I can't be honest with them about some of my internal struggles. And this is what I know to be true. Like, success is an inside out job. So if you are feeling fear, doubt, lack, scarcity, any of those things on the inside, that's going to be reflected on the outside. And so when you use that self-awareness, not to shame yourself for the things that you haven't done, but as an opener for really just more personal growth. And I know a lot of people probably listening to your podcast are like, really more personal growth. but I think just going deeper in one area, like pick one thing. Like if you release this one thing in 2025, what would be possible? Maybe that fear of rejection has stopped you in the past from being able to get to the next level. Or maybe you're actually stressed out all the time. Like you can't even turn your brain off. Like, what if you live 2025 without that big thing, just kind of holding power over you? Like, what would be possible? So go
And I think
deeper in one area.
yeah, and I think one of the biggest keys to really getting to that point, Kelly, is right back to your first idea is you need to be aware that it's there. You
Yeah,
need to be aware that that problem exists, because without that awareness, you're just ignorant to what's happening.
yeah,
And and I'd love to get your take on this, because I've read the what was it? What was it called? Tribe of Millionaires,
yes,
the GoBundance book.
yes,
And the idea behind this book, and it was kind of a fictionalized story that was the origin story of GoBundance. But the idea was you get yourself around other people who look at the world in a completely different way, and then you start reflecting back and seeing my worldview has been so limited. But it's
yeah,
hard for us to get there, Kelly. It's hard for us to get past our own egos. You were saying earlier that we need to present this perfect version of ourselves to project it to the outside world. But to a certain extent, we kind of have to project it to ourselves as well, because we're fragile
yeah.
and we're insecure. And if I believe that I'm flawed, then I won't be able to keep going. And so could you walk through a couple of steps just to create that awareness so that we can even think about the things that we want to
Yeah.
change in 2025?
Absolutely. So the first thing that I would say is that, the past does leave clues. Like I'm not a big fan of like, ruminating constantly on the things that you've done wrong, but it does leave clues. Like look at where you started 2024 and your New Year's resolutions, your goals, your intentions, whether on a cocktail napkin in your head or, really thought out in a plan. And then find the gaps, find the things that you really didn't move the needle on, the things that you didn't do, and then that will kind of be able to share with you. Like I look at, most of us have a preferred method of self-sabotage that shows up differently in every category. How I sabotage my finances is different than how I sabotage my personal relationships, which is different than how I sabotage my health, right? And so when I look at, if I look at those all just kind of uniquely different, then I'm going to really pick one or two that I'm like, all right, if I really made a dent in my health, I'm going to have more energy to actually focus on my finances and whatnot. And, the two things that I tell people, the most elementary levels of psychology are projection and distraction, right? And so most of us, we can also look at it and say, well, where am I complaining most about my kids? Well, my kids are lazy. No, put the mirror up. You're lazy. If you see it in them, you're probably experiencing some of that yourself. Like I'll talk to adults all the time. I'm like, who told their kid at soccer this weekend? Like, did you do your best? And everyone's like, yeah, I said that. I'm like, do you say that to yourself every day when you leave the
Mhm.
office? Because I guarantee you didn't do your best. Like most
Mhm.
people don't do their best. They do like subpar work most of the time when you really look at, productivity amongst especially American workers. And so you kind of have to be able to look at, well, what are one or two of those areas that I want to focus most on, and then create a plan around it. Like really just say like, and you always want to have that vision that doesn't include not like I'm not going to procrastinate. It's just I'm going to execute effortlessly this year. But I'm going to be really clear. A lot of us put too many things on our own plate. And then, of course, we're not going to execute effortlessly because we don't have the capacity to do it. And so I always say then filter it through like what your bigger vision is, what your goals are, and then start to just every day as the voice comes up, like, oh, you don't need to go to the gym today, Josh. You can go tomorrow. Oh, hi, excuse making voice. How are you
What? Get out of my head,
today?
Kelly. What are you
Like,
doing?
how are you today, you cute little thing? Like, thanks for trying to protect me. I know I lived without going to the gym, but I'm going. Like, you have to learn how to talk to the voices. And so, I mean, and most of us are like, oh, do you have multiple personality disorder? No, you're a human being. You have so many voices in your head. We have no idea whose they are, right? Your mom, your dad, your teacher, your pastor,
That's right.
and as you started this Tribe of Millionaires philosophy of there's so much power in your network because of not only accountability, but also we want proof. If everyone at the gym wasn't fit, you'd be like, well, what am I coming here for? But you're going to see the people in the gym that are fit, right? And you might, and comparison is the thief of joy, but it can also be, hey, my brain wants to know because I'm not going to work out once and get muscles, that if I do this continuously over a period of time, that I'm going to see some results. And you've got an amazing book behind you, right? Atomic Habits. You look
That's right.
at Atomic Habits, High Performance Habits, other books on the power of habit. One of my favorite, the psychology behind habits is flawed for most people because they give the reward away. We look for the external to be rewarded. Like, I need to work out and get fit. Instead of, if I work out 4 times this week, I'm going to reward myself with a nice pedicure. I'm sure you love pedicures, right, Josh? Like,
Yeah, I've
get
had a
yourself a
couple.
great pedicure. If you do
I've had
this
a couple in my
now,
life, and they were
yeah,
they were
yeah.
fantastic.
Now I get to reward myself. We're just looking for too much outside of ourselves to be able to put some of these things into cement in our life. And so when you have that power of proximity, the people around you that are cheering, giving you ideas, and then showing you that they are the proof, right? It definitely is supportive of you getting to this next level.
That's awesome. And so tell us a little bit more about the business that you run and a little
Yeah,
bit more about GoBundance because
yeah,
they are kind of
absolutely.
related but separate.
Awesome. So GoodLeap, we're a financial technology company and we do home improvement and solar financing and payments for the contractor space too. And it's been absolutely, for anybody listening, I would tell you when you align your purpose with your profession, magic happens and you get to go to work. You get to do the things that you love. So for anyone listening, if that's not on your to-do list, I would do that. The other aspect I would tell you when it's coming to that, or make sure that you work for a world positive company, which means it's good for the people and it's good for the planet. Your soul will be at war with whatever you're doing if it's not good for the people or for the planet. So I would definitely encourage that. But then I also co-own a women's mastermind, which supports my professional ambitions as well, called GoBundance Women. There's a men's division out there too for anybody listening. And really, we create a really awesome space for ambitious women to support one another getting to the next level. They say you never want to be the smartest person in the room. And I guarantee when I go into my GoBundance events, I'm pretty sure that I'm not. And then I'm going to get that collective wisdom of all of these women that are going to help me get to the next level. So for anyone that wants support in that area, I highly recommend that you check out a mastermind. There's so many out there. That was the one thing in my personal growth journey for the last 20 years. I did alone. That is a big way, just to mention self-sabotage. That is a big way that we sabotage ourselves, is that we think we have to do it alone. And when you
Mm.
have that board of directors, which we put you into a pod of 4 to 5 other amazing women that are going to help you with your goal planning, accountability, ideas, connections, it definitely can help take things to the next level and you will never feel like you're doing it alone again.
Awesome. And so where can we go to learn more about GoodLeap?
Yeah. Well, since we talked about self-sabotage today, I do have an awesome 3-part series out there on overcoming some of the top ways that business leaders sabotage themselves. So you can go to www.downloadthepod.com and you'll be able to check that out. You can always go to the GoBundance Women website as well, just at GoBundanceWomen.com. Love to have a conversation. And it's one of the things that we also do a lot of mindset coaching, because for most of us, you do have to have the right mindset in order to be able to support what you're doing. And so what I encourage you to do is to spend an equal amount of time on who you're being as what you're doing. And it will definitely get you to that next place that you want to go in your life.
Excellent. Well, hey, we're going to wrap up from here. Thanks so much to our guest, Kelly Resendez, for joining us and sharing some wisdom about how she gets stuff done. For those of you who want to engage and learn more about what she does and consider GoBundance Women or her GoodLeap company, you can go to downloadthepod.com or GoBundanceWomen.com. And whether you're on your morning commute, in the gym, or somewhere out in the field, snap a selfie, tag me at JT Literally. Show me what you do while you're in the do zone. And one more time, if you want to solve the problem of lead generation, qualification, and follow-up by automating it completely, download the Conversational Funnels Blueprint for free at conversationalfunnels.com. That's it. Let's get to work. Hey, thanks for listening to the Do Zone podcast. If you're running a service-based business that's looking to grow this year, let's talk about how we can slingshot you into momentum with a quick injection of cash and sales. Our clients typically see results in as little as 7 days. To learn more about what we do, you can go to factor1.io. Once again, that's factor1.io. We'll see you next time.